College football is only weeks away, and with a new college football season means at the end of it, we're going to award a new Heisman Trophy winner. So here are my top 10 Heisman Trophy candidates for the 2023 college football season. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. But a great way to start the college football season is with a draft guide. That's right, I have my draft guide now available for purchase on PayPal or Venmo. Just follow the link in the description. I have over 300 players with evals there, and it gets updated throughout the whole season, all the way through the All-Star circuit. So that sucker's gonna have close to like 500 to 600 names by the end of it. So if you love the draft as much as I do, then go ahead and check that out. But let's go ahead and get this sucker started with Caleb Williams. He is easily gonna be the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman. Again, to be fair, if Hendon Hooker didn't go down, I don't know if Caleb Williams wins the Heisman, but the dude put up great numbers last season, and that USC team still has a ton of talent. I know they lost Jordan Addison. I know that they lost like Andrew Voorhees and some other pieces of that offensive line, but they brought in guys via the transfer portal. And Caleb Williams is still one hell of a player. This guy can improvise like nobody's a business, man. He is just phenomenal. Put up 52 total touchdowns last season, and honestly, it would be hard to see him eclipse that, but he certainly can. But let's continue to talk about the Pac-12. I'm going to go over Bo Nix here real quick, and then we'll talk about another Pac-12 quarterback. To be fair, the Heisman, it's kind of a quarterback-driven award, at least right now. And don't worry, this list isn't just quarterbacks, but Bo Nix, ever since he arrived there at Oregon last season, was magical for him. 43 total touchdowns, and that is a very good Oregon squad that is very well coached under Dan Lannon. They bring back Troy Franklin. The running back crew is there in Winton and Irvin. So yeah, like the Pac-12, like, and I said this in my top 25 video, that Pac-12s, they're just gonna kill each other. Like, the Pac-12 is that good this season. But yeah, watch out for Bo Nix, as well as Washington's Michael Penix Jr. He had a phenomenal season. Last season was his first year of being fully healthy, as when he was at Indiana, either by like week 5 or week 6, he would have some sort of season-ending injuries. And last year, we got to see what he can do when he was fully healthy. And that Washington team brings back a hell lot of talent. Jalen McMillan, Rome Odunze, like that is a really, really good squad. And like I said, the Pac-12, they're just gonna kill each other. I fully expect to see those touchdown numbers go up for Michael Penix here in year 2 as a full-time starter. There we go. I was like, he's been there for a little longer. He's been around long, but as a full-time starter, year 2 for him. But he is kind of seasoned. Again, he was a starter at Indiana. But let's move away from the West Coast and go to the East Coast. Drake May out of North Carolina. He did lose some significant weapons in Joshua Downs, Antoine Green, but that's still a squad that has got some legit talent. They bring in Kent State wide receiver, I want to say Devontae Walker. He's a nice big body vertical target. But Drake May, man, dude's got a cannon. Dude can play. 44 total touchdowns last season. They're playing in Mac Brown's like kind of RPO heavy offense. And he can move. He almost had 900 rushing yards last season. So yeah, he's going to be putting up some big numbers, and one of their toughest tests is the season opener against South Carolina. And I think that's going to be a good indicator how he will fare for the rest of the year, because he doesn't face Clemson until I think the second to last week of the college football season. So I fully expect Drake May to have one heck of a season. He's probably likely a lot of people's number 2s. So yeah, I'm not surprised to see him here on the list, but I think I want to move away from the quarterback position. Let's look at other positions that could potentially get the Heisman Trophy. And Blake Corum, the running back out of Michigan, had well, he was on many Heisman lists before he went down with injury. 19 total touchdowns there for the Wolverines, and man, that offense returns a lot of good talent. They did lose some guys on the offensive line, and they just went out and replaced them. Drake Nugent, they brought him over from Stanford to play center. Ladarius Henderson, they brought from Arizona State to kind of fill in the left tackle role. So it's kind of nice. They just kind of reloaded there. So Blake Corum, him, and as long as Donovan Edwards doesn't really eat a big chunk into Corum's volume, Corum should be like the lead candidate in terms of running backs that could actually vie for the Heisman. I don't think I have another running back on this list. A couple of other guys that you can maybe make a case for. I think you can make a case for Treshaun Ward, who's over at Kansas State now that Deuce Vaughn's gone. There's Braylon Allen there over at Wisconsin. Man, he's going to be racking up some tutties this year, hoping that offense might look a little better under Luke Fickell. But yeah, big believer in Corum. Hopefully he does come back healthy as well, and I imagine he does. He's had the whole offseason to recover from the MCL. But let's jump to the wide receiver position. Marvin Harrison Jr. is kind of an obvious pick here. I think so. The dude was probably the most unstoppable receiver in college football last season. In single coverage, he had just ridiculous numbers. Let me pull him up here real quick. Yeah, in single coverage, he had over 800 yards and 14 touchdowns. Like, the dude's just a monster, and you might think, well, CJ Stroud's gone, so the quarterback play is going to slip a little bit. Well, with, what was it, Kyle McCord, I think is their new starter. I probably got the name wrong, but that used to be Marvin Harrison's quarterback in high school. So, if anything, he is going to find a nice safety, security blanket in Marvin Harrison. I expect him to totally tear it up once again. All right, let's go back to the quarterback position. Looking for now guys that might have breakout seasons, and Jordan Travis was kind of the first one that came to mind for me there at Florida State, a team that brought in a ton of talent via the transfer portal. Johnny Wilson decided to stay. They brought in Jaheim Bell from South Carolina. They brought in Keon Coleman from Michigan State. So he is wrapped, like, there's a lot of talent around him. Robert Scott decided to stay. On the offensive line, Trey Benson decided to stay, who was the lead back essentially for Florida State. So I was kind of shocked that he only had 32 total touchdowns last season. I think 24 passing touchdowns. I expect those numbers to be through the roof, because they got an unstoppable wide receiver duo there, and then you just put icing on the cake when you have Jaheim Bell. It's really that good. So yeah, Jordan Travis, I really feel like could definitely have a huge breakout year. Keep in mind, last season he got a little banged up in that Louisville game along with Jared Verse. So I am very, very excited. Another guy that I think could just continue to break out, KJ Jefferson. He's just built different. Out of Arkansas, he is, for all intents and purposes, kind of a value brand Anthony Richardson. He's a little older, about the same size. I don't think he's got nearly the same athleticism, but it's pretty darn close, man. This cat runs an RPO-heavy system, and he was a little banged up last year as well, but still produced really good numbers. And this offense goes through KJ Jefferson. What he can do on the ground is just someone tough to bring down, better athlete than you would expect at 246 pounds. And he could sling the rock. Again, a very pass-friendly offense there in Arkansas. So KJ Jefferson, I don't think a lot of people are really mentioning it as a potential Heisman contender, but he definitely had to make my list just because the tools are they something. Speaking of tools, gotta mention Joe Milton. He's the guy on this list that doesn't have the production as everyone else does. So I want to put in someone who maybe didn't have a lot of production, and Joe Milton's kind of that guy. He had 10 touchdowns at the end of the season after Hendon Hooker went down. And yes, Tennessee, they did lose a lot of talent with Cedric Tillman. Jalen Hyatt, but they recruit well. They brought in some talent. They still have Brew McCoy there, who's a nice big body target. And this is a very quarterback-friendly offense that creates a lot of space for the quarterback to throw it into essentially garage door-sized windows. So the numbers could be pretty darn good, and he definitely probably has the strongest arm in the country. Like, the boy got a big arm. He might not be the fastest guy at 6'5", 242, but he is hard to bring down nonetheless. So I'm expecting Joe Milton to have a pretty darn good year. I might not be as high as some people are in terms of him as a draft prospect, but when it comes to college football, I think he is going to have a banger year in Hopel's offense there. And then before we wrap up the list, I just want to say I wanted to finish by giving the defense a little shine. The Heisman is hardly ever, never won by a defensive player. But if it is, I think Harold Perkins Jr. could be that guy. He had a phenomenal freshman campaign for the Tigers there in Death Valley. 72 tackles, 41 pressures, 7.5 sacks. He had an interception, 4 forced fumbles. The dude is just a nightmare. He lives in the backfield. He lives in opponent's backfield. So, yeah, I expect him to be just have another banger year there for LSU. That defense is going to be just as ferocious. And, yeah, it kind of sucks that he isn't a legit draft prospect till 2025. So, let's just enjoy watching him for this season and get forward to looking at him in the 2024 college football season. But that's it for the video. I know there's a ton of names you could probably throw out there that could be potential candidates for the Heisman Trophy, but I wanted to limit myself to 10. So let me know some of your favorite ones in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. As always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.